Hey, welcome to Dad Space. This is Dave. It's a little different music this time around. Yeah, a little different. What are we doing? Well, this is National Podcast Post Month. What does that mean to you? It means to you that you're going to get 30 episodes in 30 days. 30, I know, right? And the idea is that as podcasters, we're going to create episodes in support of National Podcast Post Month. They call it hashtag #NaPodPomo for those at home that are keeping score. But the idea is that we just create content for you daily in the month of November. So we are focusing on some great people that have been past guests on the show and friends of the show, answering questions about dads and giving you some feedback. And then also adding in some of the books that I found and resources I found as a fellow dad that could help you possibly on your journey as a dad. So that's kind of what we're focusing on this month, and I'm excited to share this with you. It's going to be a great month, and today's episode is part of that. I'm excited to share with you a new resource, possibly new to you, and tell you my thoughts about it here on Dad Space. Glad to be with you. The other big part of November, which I'm excited to also bring forward for those that are unaware, is we call it also Movember. What is Movember? It's when the mustache is calling. It is our time as men to unite, to take on mental health, suicide, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and all of that is to shine a light on men's mental health and men's physical health. And we're celebrating Movember as well. Link in the show notes for you to see how you can support is to raise money and awareness for men. So on top of doing National Podcast Post Month, this month is always focused on you as well as men. We're here to support you and to let you know that there's a community around you that's wishing and searching for the best for you as men. So happy Movember, everyone, as well. Let's get into the podcast. So, okay, this one's a little difficult. Are you guilty of the choices that your kids make in life? When you have a child, when you have a baby, you take that baby home from the hospital, right? Put them in the car. You drive home. You're like the best driver you've ever been in your entire life on that way home from the hospital, right? It's like you've got like a dozen eggs in an open container and you're trying to keep them from smashing into each other as you drive home. You don't want to make a single mistake. And from that point on, you handle this child with love and care, and you pour yourself into them. You teach them valuable lessons. You teach them how to love others. You teach them how to be a good citizen. You teach them how to follow a path that makes everyone in the world better. And it's all about others. It's not about you. You do all this shaping and building around your kids. And then the unthinkable happens. Your child takes a turn and goes down a path, down a road that you never in a billion years would ever have thought they would ever take that path. And then you feel the weight of the world looking at you as the parent. I see it when we see tragic events happen in the news. And then you see the police lined up in front of the home of the person where they resided, whether maybe it was their parents' house. And the police are lined up, the neighbors are outside, there's taped off driveways and doors, and there's helicopters buzzing above. And here is a bewildered dad, a devastated mom, standing out in front of the house, weeping, being pushed into a police car and taken away. And it's not because of anything they've done. They're hearing about this in real time as we are. Their child has decided to do something tragic. And the direct impact on them, apart from being disappointed, apart from them being shocked and destroyed by the sheer act of what their child has done in this world. Now they're thrown into the media and labeled by neighbors and coworkers and family and everyone in their community as evil. And it wasn't them that did the act. Sure, they're horrified by what's happened, but this is their child. And up to this moment, there was no reason to ever think of them any way differently. How would you respond to that? How would you respond to your kid doing something so horrible that it captures the attention of the world? And you are painted with the same brush, and you didn't do the act. You didn't encourage the act. You didn't feed the act. You had nothing to do with the act. How would you respond? And that's why this book caught my attention. It's called A Father's Story. It's interesting because it's written by Lionel Dahmer. And Lionel has a son named Jeffrey Dahmer. And back in July of 1991, the world was shocked by the crimes of a serial killer, Lionel's son, Jeffrey. But no one was more shocked than his parents. And in this book, A Father's Story, the reader is witness to the incremental unraveling of a parent's image of their child. And Lionel, in this book around raising a serial killer, Lionel scrutinizes every possible contributing factor to his son's madness. And it's a riveting and soul-wrenching memoir. And the confession of a father who must confront the saddest truth a human can know, that his child has somehow crossed the line that separates the human from the monstrous. What a sobering book. What a sobering thought. That your kids could go down a path so far from how we've raised them, so far from the truths and the morality that we have in our home, whatever that is for you in your house. How would you respond? So again, this book caught my eye because every time I think of anything to do with the news, next time something happens, I hope it doesn't happen for a long time. But the next time there's a big major event in your city, the country you live in, and all the news trucks are gathered and the police cars are there and they do a press conference and the attention shifts from the person who committed the act to the family who were completely unaware of anything that was going on. I want you just to think, just for a moment, about how heart-wrenching that moment must be for that father, that mother, the brother, the sister, uncle, aunt, cousin, grandparent. For that family, not only to have the reality of something horrible's happened in this world, but it was caused by your own child, and now people are seeing you in a different light. How would you respond? Is the parent guilty for the choices of a child? Are you responsible, ultimately, for the choices your children make? I'm really curious to know your thoughts on this. I'm really wrestling with this. I really am. So check out Lionel's book about his son, Jeffrey. It's A Father's Story. I put a link in the notes for you if you're interested. That's my question. Are you guilty of your child's choices? Think about that. Thanks for listening. This is Dad Space. I'm glad you're here. Happy November to you. Happy Movember. And I would love for you to share this with another dad. This podcast, this Movember, this month where we focus on dads, this is the focus on you. And we are in your corner. If you've ever felt like you're alone, if you've ever felt like you're doing this on your own and there's no one there to help you and support you, then let Dad Space be that for you this Movember. We need to stick together. We need to be there to support each other and build each other up as men. And this was an entire month focused on us being Movember. So happy Movember, everyone. Understand that you're loved, cared for, and needed in this world. And there's no one else that can be the father that you can be. There's no one else who can be the man that you can be. And we need you. Happy Movember. Thanks for listening to Dad Space. I look forward to having you back for the next daily episode here in the month of November as we celebrate Movember and National Podcast Post Month. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a great dad. And thanks for sharing the show. Happy Movember, everybody.
It's time to rethink men's health. Because it doesn't just affect men, it affects us all. When men are well, the benefits ripple through families and communities. But when men are unwell and unsupported, we all feel it. We're all the real face of men's health. Be part of the solution with Movember.